India, January 1966. A nation, still basking in the glory of its hard-fought victory against Pakistan, found itself draped in a shroud of grief. Lal Bahadur Shastri, the diminutive yet resolute Prime Minister, was no more. The man who had led India through one of its most challenging hours, who had galvanized a nation with his simple life and steely resolve, had died under mysterious circumstances in Tashkent, a foreign land where he had gone in search of peace. The news of Shastri's death sent shockwaves across India. He had been in good health, or so it seemed, just hours before his demise. The official account pointed towards a sudden heart attack. Yet the circumstances surrounding his death, the lack of transparency, and the inconsistencies in the official narrative fueled a firestorm of speculation. Rumors, whispered in hushed tones at first, soon became a deafening roar, questioning the official narrative and demanding answers. The nation that had just celebrated his leadership was now engulfed in suspicion and disbelief. Could their beloved leader, a beacon of hope and resilience, be snatched away so abruptly? The stage was set for an enduring mystery, one that would cast a long shadow over India's political landscape. Shastri's death remains one of the most debated events in Indian history, an unresolved puzzle that continues to haunt the nation's conscience. To understand the impact of Shastri's death, one must first understand the man himself and the pivotal role he played in shaping India's destiny. Thrust into the Prime Minister's seat following Jawaharlal Nehru's death in 1964, Shastri, a man of humble origins, was initially seen as a stopgap leader. However, he quickly proved his mettle, displaying exceptional leadership during the 1965 war with Pakistan. When Pakistan launched a surprise attack on India in 1965, many feared that India, still reeling from the 1962 war with China, would crumble. But Shastri, with his calm demeanor and unwavering determination, rallied the nation. His iconic slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Hail the soldier, hail the farmer, resonated throughout the country, galvanizing the armed forces and the citizens alike. Under Shastri's leadership, India not only thwarted Pakistan's aggression, but also launched a counteroffensive, pushing deep into Pakistani territory. The war, though brief, proved to be a defining moment for India and established Shastri's image as a strong and decisive leader. He had emerged from Nehru's shadow, proving his worth as a leader in his own right. His sudden death, just months after leading India to victory, amplified the nation's sense of loss and disbelief. The man who had guided them through a tumultuous period was gone, leaving behind a void that seemed impossible to fill. With the guns falling silent on the battlefield, Shastri, ever the peacemaker, agreed to meet Pakistani President Ayub Khan in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, under the mediation of Soviet Premier Alexei Kosygin. The objective was to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict and normalize relations between the two warring neighbors. The Tashkent summit, held in January 1966, was fraught with tension. Both India and Pakistan had suffered heavy casualties, and public sentiment on both sides was charged with animosity. Shastri, despite facing criticism at home for agreeing to return captured territory, remained committed to finding a peaceful solution. On January 10, 1966, after days of intense negotiations, India and Pakistan signed the Tashkent Declaration. The agreement, while criticized by some in India for its perceived concessions, was hailed internationally as a victory for peace and diplomacy. Shastri had once again demonstrated his commitment to peace, earning global recognition for his statesmanship. However, the celebrations were short-lived. Within hours of signing the agreement, tragedy struck. Shastri, who had appeared healthy and in good spirits earlier, was dead. The official announcement stated that he had succumbed to a massive heart attack. The details surrounding Shastri's death are shrouded in mystery. According to official accounts, Shastri suffered a heart attack in the early hours of January 11, 1966, at his dacha, a Russian country house, in Tashkent. He had just returned from a dinner hosted by Kosygin and was preparing to retire for the night. His aides found him struggling for breath and immediately called for medical help. However, by the time the doctors arrived, It was too late. Shastri was pronounced dead. The official cause of death was listed as cardiac arrest, but several inconsistencies in the official narrative raised eyebrows. Shastri's body, upon arrival in India, was reportedly blue, a possible indication of poisoning. There were also reports of cuts and marks on his body, suggesting foul play. Furthermore, no post-mortem was conducted in the USSR, and the Indian doctors who examined his body upon arrival in India were not allowed to perform a full autopsy. The absence of a comprehensive medical examination only deepened the mystery surrounding his death. The lack of transparency surrounding Shastri's death fueled a wave of conspiracy theories. Some alleged that he was poisoned, pointing to the perceived lack of urgency in providing medical attention and the refusal to conduct a post-mortem. Others whispered about a possible role of foreign powers, suggesting that Shastri's strong stance against joining military blocs had made him enemies. One of the most persistent theories linked Shastri's death to the Tashkent Declaration itself. Some believed that Shastri, under pressure from the Soviet Union and facing opposition at home, had become a liability. His sudden demise, they argued, conveniently removed a major obstacle to the agreement. While there is no concrete evidence to support any of these theories, the Indian government's reluctance to declassify documents related to Shastri's death has only added fuel to the fire. The absence of a clear and convincing explanation has allowed speculation to thrive, casting a long shadow of doubt over the official narrative. Shastri's family, unconvinced by the official explanation, has been at the forefront of the fight for truth and transparency. They have consistently maintained that Shastri's death was not natural and have demanded a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding his demise. Their pleas for justice, however, have largely fallen on deaf ears. Successive Indian governments, citing national security concerns and the sensitivity of the matter, have refused to declassify documents related to Shastri's death. The family's efforts to seek legal recourse have also been met with roadblocks. Despite the lack of official support, Shastri's family has remained undeterred. They have filed numerous Right to Information (RTI) applications, seeking access to government files and documents that could shed light on the events leading up to Shastri's death. Their struggle is a testament to their unwavering belief that the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, must be revealed. They continue to seek closure, not just for themselves, but for the entire nation that still mourns the untimely demise of its leader. The mystery surrounding Lal Bahadur Shastri's death has had a profound impact on his legacy. While he is remembered as a national hero, a symbol of simplicity, integrity, and courage, the cloud of suspicion surrounding his demise continues to linger. The unanswered questions about his death have overshadowed his achievements to some extent. The lack of closure has prevented a complete understanding and appreciation of his life and legacy. It is a tragic irony that a man who dedicated his life to serving the nation should be denied a dignified end, and his family, the solace of truth. Despite the controversy, Shastri's contributions to India cannot be erased. He will forever be remembered as the leader who steered India through a challenging period, who united the nation against external aggression, and who strived for peace even in the face of adversity. The Indian government's handling of the Shastri death case has been widely criticized. The lack of transparency, the refusal to declassify documents, and the repeated dismissals of the family's pleas for a thorough investigation have only deepened the mystery and eroded public trust. The government's stance has been seen by many as an attempt to protect powerful individuals or interests that may have been involved in Shastri's death. The longer the government avoids a transparent and comprehensive investigation, the more it fuels speculation and undermines its own credibility. This lack of transparency has set a dangerous precedent, raising questions about the government's accountability and its commitment to truth and justice. It also highlights the fragility of democratic institutions in India, where even the death of a prime minister can be shrouded in secrecy. More than 5 decades after Lal Bahadur Shastri's death, the mystery surrounding his demise remains unsolved. The official narrative of a heart attack, riddled with inconsistencies and unsupported by concrete evidence, has failed to convince a large section of the Indian population. The absence of a credible explanation, coupled with the government's reluctance to address the issue transparently, has allowed conspiracy theories to flourish. The Shastri death case has become a parable of secrecy and the abuse of power, a stark reminder of the challenges in upholding truth and justice in a democracy. The unresolved questions surrounding Shastri's death continue to haunt the collective conscience of India. It serves as a potent symbol of the government's lack of accountability and the enduring struggle for truth and justice in a society grappling with a complex and often troubled past. The passage of time has done little to diminish the public's desire for answers. The questions surrounding Shastri's death remain as relevant today as they were in 1966. Did Lal Bahadur Shastri die a natural death, as the official narrative claims? If so, why the lack of transparency and the refusal to release crucial documents? If not, who was responsible for his death and what were the motives? These unanswered questions continue to cast a long shadow over India's political landscape. They represent a fundamental failure of the Indian state to address a dark chapter in its history. Until these questions are answered truthfully and comprehensively, the legacy of Lal Bahadur Shastri, a man who dedicated his life to serving his nation, will remain tragically incomplete.